What's going on, Leaks Lines family? Welcome back to the podcast. It's Darren and AG, and in this one, we're going to be talking about not being afraid to redefine your inner circle. This could be like personal, professional, whichever way it goes, but I'm going to let AG kind of kick us off with his first thoughts on this one.
What's up with y'all? Does your circle understand who you truly are, or are they just along for the ride? That is a big question that everyone should be asking themselves when it comes to their circle. Now, for the men, hibernation and being with your own thoughts is very important. If you are around fellow men who get offended when you kind of got to take a step back, or you got to take some alone time, or, you're not necessarily popping out all the time, or you're not active in the group chat, or you're not posting and all that, you're literally just taking time to yourself to recharge and get everything back going, that's a red flag. You don't want to be around men who get upset with you for taking care of you. You don't want to be around ladies like that too, but I'm really specifically saying from like men to men, like when we're talking about your hardcore circle, like your ride or die. I call them your wolf pack. You want to be able to have that fully established and have that understanding. Sometimes you might have friends that you guys don't talk every day, you don't talk every week, you don't even talk every month. That's okay, because you know the bond, you know the real relationship. So, people just shouldn't get offended by that. And does your circle provide encouragement and constructive criticism? Are these folks going to tell you, hey, you got something in your beard? Or they're going to tell you, hey, that business idea is cool, but it's hollow? Or, you want to take advice from folks that know, especially when it comes to business stuff, you want to have reliable sources. But my point is, are they giving you constructive criticism? Are you able to take that constructive criticism and not be personal about it or make it an emotional thing? Who you listen to and who you hang out with really help your trajectory. So you want to be cognizant of that.
Yeah, agreed 1,000%. Because my first one was actually that you're the average of the top 5 people you hang around, and that's something that I think everybody has probably heard before. But the reason why I think that one's so true is because like it's so easy today to just get stuck in the echo chamber of repeating. Like you're either around people who believe the same things as you, like the idea of yes men or yes women, I guess, just yes people. And then also with the internet, social media, it's so easy between YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, like anything you're on, even Facebook. Once you start going down a certain type of philosophy or thought process or following certain types of content or watching certain types of content, it's going to only recommend you more content like that. So if you hang with people who do the same things as you consume the same stuff online every day, eventually your world stops growing. Like there's no new information coming in at all. It's like everything around you is just a repetition of something you've already heard, a mistake you've already made, and it's impossible to grow like that. So that's just piggybacking pretty much off AG's first one.
For sure. And that kind of transitions into it's okay to outgrow people. You don't want to hang on to business ties, relationship ties, friendship ties, acquaintanceships, whatever you got going on. You don't want to hang on to something when you know it's time to grow and it's time to go. Because when it comes to our diet is mental, physical, and financial. You can put spiritual in there too, but that just depends on how you rocking. If you have poor visual, you have poor mental health. Like meaning you're making horrible visual choices, like what you're choosing to see and take in, what you were kind of just saying. When you eat bad, you have poor physical health. When you make poor financial decisions, you have poor financial health. So is your circle of friends contributing to that or taking away from that? Are you the friend that is responsible for paying for everything because so-and-so is always going through something, or they always got some sort of dark cloud above them that affects your mental, physical, and financial health? You don't want to be anchored down by by folks like that and doing different activities. You know, if you're used to going out with the crew, y'all going out every Friday, Saturday, Thursday through Saturday, y'all are at the bars, you're at the clubs. Okay, well, why don't y'all go get a hoop run in? Why don't y'all go just do something different? I don't care if you go to a pottery class, go to a yoga, just do something different. If your circle isn't willing to try new things, that's another red flag. You want to, and it's okay to change up. If you're interested in doing pottery or anything like that, it doesn't matter. You might go to that class and now you might meet new people there that share your same interest. So now these people that don't even know you like that, they're going to have the opportunity to get to know you because you guys are kind of you're on the same path. You're trying to do something different. That doesn't mean that you neglect your old friends or the people you've been around. You just got to detach a little bit and don't be afraid to grow.
Like you said, if people around you are afraid to try something different, you're not going to feel more inspired or more encouraged to try something different either. So my next point was that you can become complacent that way. A lot of times, like literally what AG was just saying, if you wanted to try something new, but let's say your closest group of friends tried to make you feel bad for it or tried to make it seem like you're changing because you want to try something different, then that could discourage you. I mean, it likely probably will. Like our friends have a huge influence over how we think, how we see the world. So if you really want to do something, you're excited about it, but they're making you feel bad about it, like it's a bad decision, or making you feel guilty or guilt tripping you, you're not hanging with us anymore, you're changing, you're bougie, whatever those things are can really limit you or help you become more complacent, just because you'll tell yourself no just to kind of appease your social group. So I agree with that. If people around, like as you were saying, if people around you aren't willing to at least support you if you're willing to do something different, because they don't have to do that too. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but if they're not willing to even acknowledge you trying to grow or do something different or change your life, then that's not a sign of a healthy kind of friendship or relationship to me.
And we get caught up in loyalty. And I'm one of those people. That's why I got to speak on it. Length of time doesn't equate to loyalty. So we could be friends since the third grade, but if ever since the third grade I've been getting in trouble with you, or we've been getting caught up on nothing but straight BS, just because we've known each other since the third grade, it doesn't make that an automatic positive relationship that deserves my loyalty. And we got to really learn the difference between that. Now, if we've known each other since the third grade, yeah, we bumped our heads a couple of times, but we're pretty much on the same path, or we're on pathways that are parallel to each other. You know, he's in tech, I'm in real estate, but we can find a way to combine tech and real estate and we're still moving along. That's beautiful. But if I'm doing something that's just the polar opposite, it's probably not going to work out. And you got to just know when to quit. That also leads me to say that some people are content and happy with where they are. So if you had hometown best friends and they end up, say your best friend ends up marrying a high school sweetheart, but you broke up with your high school sweetheart, but they stayed in the hometown and you moved to the mountains somewhere, that's okay. That doesn't make you a bad friend because their life required them to stay in the hometown and build ties there. They could have a great relationship there and a great, execution there. That's just what they were meant to do. You still got to be able to, you can maintain a friendship, but just know where you're at with people, you know? And my last piece is just kind of, don't be afraid to insert yourself in spots where you are literally the dumbest person in the room or in a conversation. And when I say the dumbest person, obviously I'm not saying it disrespectfully, but I'm saying like, be willing to just stay around folks that are going to teach you something. That's how you establish a really strong circle. You got people that you can leverage, what they know to help you learn more. Just be hungry for that and your circle will change.
if you're around people who pretty much do the same thing as you all the time, y'all think the same all the time, you won't really know. Like, how do you know what to, you know, what goals to set, what to dream for? How do you know what's possible if you don't? Obviously, you know what's out there. I mean, from maybe TV, YouTube, books, or I don't know, but there's nothing more meaningful than like when you know somebody firsthand and you have like a firsthand experience knowing you watch this person do something or you know that it's possible. So I feel like who you're around has a big influence on what your dreams and goals probably even are. You know what I mean? If you're around people with small goals, you probably have small goals. You're around people with big goals, you probably have big goals. Like it just happens to work out that way. It doesn't mean you can't, obviously still be friends with people who have completely different goals than you and things like that. Like of course you can, but just it's more likely that if you're around people whose the things that they think and do just align more with what you want, that's going to keep you motivated, especially through like the hard times. Because like obviously anytime you're doing something that you really care about, it's not always going to go your way. You're going to have those days where like you're in a rut, you're stuck, potentially depressed, down at the very least, and you want people around you who have a similar but competing type of drive for whatever they want to do to maybe motivate you on that day, pick you up on that day. I've called you about being depressed sometimes. I just feel like I was down and and he told me that he's like, bro, it's seasonal depression. Like it's winter time, it's cold out, this happened, that happens, and like it was just wild. But I was just in a rut for a little minute a few years ago, and so sometimes you just need to have someone you can trust and have that conversation with because it's not always good. It's not always going to be a productive conversation. You're not always going to be talking about great things that you're planning to do. And like sometimes it will just be a conversation about how you feel in the moment or like all the things that went wrong that week. And you need people around you who aren't intimidated by that and they're able to support you and, they're doing the same thing in their life. So they're giving you advice that they take too. They're not just telling you things that they don't do. Like they're telling you because you've probably had to pick them up on certain days. And so that's just what happens when you're around people that are more kind of aligned with you, in my opinion. So yeah, that was kind of our thoughts on redefining your circle a little bit. Do you have anything before we close out?
Some relationships just fizzle out and fade away. So don't trip about it. Just grow about it.
Absolutely. And then a lot of times too, and you never know if it's meant to be. I feel like, think people like paths reconnect. You know what I mean? So if you have to go, I think it was when Kobe died. I think Tracy McGrady talked about how at one point like him and Kobe, I think were in high school at the same time, and they were both like top tier recruits in the country. They went to college and everything, but at a certain point when they went to the NBA, they split ways. Like T-Mac went off and did his thing. He enjoyed his money, enjoyed his wealth, enjoyed his newfound success, his career, things like that. Kobe was more determined on like building his family and like being the greatest to ever do it. So like for 10 years, they just had completely different focuses. Like T-Mac had a family and things like that too. I remember this so vividly because he talked about it when they died. Now it stuck with me because I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like he never lost any love for Kobe or anything during that whole 10 years. They totally just understood your first point. As men, they had completely different goals that they were trying to accomplish, and you know what I mean. Yeah, so let us know down in the comments if you've had to go through this before. I mean, how do you kind of manage that process? Tell us about some experiences you've had, and yeah, it's Darian and AG with Links Lines podcast. We'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.